They humiliated my little girl for drawing hopscotch squares, so I walked into that meeting with every receipt, every lie, and every dirty secret they thought I'd never find. That night, the whole room turned, and their power began to crumble. Whistles cut the evening air as two board members marched toward my daughter, Lark, chalk on her knees, her hopscotch squares brightening dull, cracked pavement. Mrs. Penumbra waved a rule sheet like a sword, declaring chalk vandalism, shouting about property values while neighbors peeked through blinds, pretending not to see. Lark's cheeks trembled red. She hid the stub behind her back. Before we continue, please drop a like and comment below with your country and what time it is right now where you're watching. Whether it's sunrise in Australia, midnight in New York, afternoon in Canada, or evening in France, I want to know. Don't just sit back, tell me where in the world you are. Now, let's dive into the story. Byron Quill snapped photos like she'd robbed a bank on Juniper Hollow Court today. I stepped between them, heart nodded, voice steady. She's 7, I said. It's hopscotch. Byron smirked, promising fines, hearings, shame. Hands shook but stayed open. They circled us as if we were trespassers on our block, at 418 Juniper Hollow Court, where we pay dues and mow lines as soldiers. Mrs. Penumbra called Lark's game graffiti, ordered her to scrub it clean. Lark's eyes pooled. Chalk rainbows blurred under tears, small colors drowning in gray. The neighbors' curtains fluttered, coward wings. Someone muttered, "Rules are rules." My jaw clenched. Camera phones recorded, for drama, but nobody offered a kind word. When Penumbra reached for Lark's chalk, I caught her wrist gently, firmly. "Enough," I said. Quill raised his phone higher like a badge, documenting defiance. A hush settled, streetlights buzzing awake. Every childhood square felt dangerous, like a trap. I felt something old inside me stir, a story I'd buried. I looked at my daughter, humiliated for playing, and promised myself one thing. They wanted rules, I'd give them receipts instead. And I had plenty. Years earlier, we moved to Oleander Trace, attracted by lawns and promises of safety. I was younger, hopeful, foolish, believing rules meant fairness for everyone. My sister, Sylvie, warned me. She disliked smiles. "Control hides in compliments," she said. I laughed, mortgage papers shining, Lark toddling, chalk already her language. The HOA president then was August Merritt, a gray whisperer in loafers. He praised my mailbox height, then fined our welcome mat as too conversational. It sounded silly then. We paid, shrugged, kept mowing. But letters arrived colder, stamped with penalties for toys left visible, bikes leaning like lazy sons. Sylvie visited, rolled her eyes, and taught Lark to draw hopscotch paths shaped like dragons. "Let childhood roar," she winked. Lark hopped, laughed, learned counting. Neighbors nodded until newsletters arrived. Unapproved chalk art, they printed, threatens community uniformity. August smiled at parties, handed cookies, counted Halloween pumpkins as taxes there. I started attending meetings in the clubhouse on Renfold Lane, noticing how voices softened quietly when August blinked. He collected respect the way spiders collect flies. People feared losing access to pool, gym key fob, and reputations needed to sell houses someday. Fear taught folks to whisper yes while frowning no. One night, Sylvie texted, "They're training you." I stared at message, thumb hovering. I typed nothing, choosing sleep instead of storm. Coward choice cost us. Because the next morning, the letters changed tone, and I finally noticed who else was targeted. Single parents, renters, immigrants, anyone coloring outside invisible lines. Back on Juniper Hollow Court, night of whistles burned into my ribs. Lark slept hugging chalk pieces like medicine. I opened our HOA binder, trembling. The covenants read like a maze. No vines taller than knees, no flags after sunset, no sounds past 9 unless approved. Chalk wasn't listed anywhere. I highlighted lines, sticky noted contradictions, photographed bylaws beside newsletters. Patterns emerged, vague phrases used as clay, remolded to push families, threaten sales, discipline ordinary joy. I emailed neighbors with fines, inviting coffee. Stories poured. A widow cited for wind chimes, A teacher warned for sunflowers, a renter punished for bikes. Sylvie came over carrying ginger cookies and impatience. "You're not crazy," she said. "They're counting on everyone staying polite." We weren't going to stay polite. I filed record requests for minutes, budgets, vendor contracts. The manager, Constance Vale, replied curtly, promising delays. I smiled, screenshotting everything like raindrops in buckets. Minutes arrived, redacted like spy novels. Numbers spoke. Repeated payments to Merit Maintenance LLC. August's cousin. Landscaping bids ignored. Violation revenue funding new clubhouse rugs. I mapped it on dining table, note cards forming constellations. Lark woke, yawned, traced lines between cards, whispering, like hopscotch, Daddy. I kissed her hair. The next meeting was Thursday, at the clubhouse on Renfold Lane. I printed packets, charged my recorder, and packed courage like a second beating heart. I printed more. Photographs of August's grandchildren drawing chalk stars at the picnic, praised in newsletters as community spirit. Tomorrow I would ask why publicly. The clubhouse smelled like lemon cleaner and nerves. August sat centered beneath a landscape print. Mrs. Penumbra stacked violation folders like a judge building towers. I signed up for homeowner comments. Constance clicked a timer shaped like an egg. 2 minutes, she warned. I breathed, remembering Lark's shaking breath yesterday. I began with bylaws, reading lines about activity, outdoor play, and enforcement. August squinted. Penumbra joked about law school. I held newsletters praising chalk stars. Murmurs rolled across the room. I displayed photos. August's grandchildren at picnic, smiling across chalk constellations. Was that vandalism too? I asked. Egg timer beeped. August shifted, voice syrupy. Board-sponsored events differ. I pointed at covenants. Where? He smiled thin. Interpretation. I turned pages showing penalties recycled into family businesses. Constance reached for the projector cord. Time. Neighbors protested. I slid copies across tables. Vendors without bids, cousins paid twice, fines funding rugs. Receipts now. Penumbra snapped, "You're grandstanding." Byron Quill lifted his phone, filming me like a threat. I nodded toward him. Document this. Tonight, we enforce rules equally. Someone asked about the widow's wind chimes. Someone asked about the teacher's sunflowers. The room's courage rose like bread. August's smile stiffened into something brittle. I finished with Lark. You humiliated a child for playing a counting game. The room went quiet, a violin note. August cleared throat and laughed. He banged gavel. Hearing adjourned. I said, "One more exhibit," and played audio. Constance promising delays, giggling, "Let him chase paper." Guess. August stood fast. The clip traveled faster than newsletters. Neighbors posted it to next door, then someone shared it on a parents' group. Comments stacked like bricks, forming courage. By morning, Penumbra emailed, threatening defamation suits. I replied with timestamps and bylaws. August sent a letter calling me disruptive. Sylvie texted fireworks, "Keep going." Lark drew careful constellations on paper, whispering, "Can I play today?" My stomach twisted. "Soon," I said. "We'll fix things." She nodded like an astronaut. I requested a meeting for policy clarification, citing sections. Constance replied with a rule proposal banning chalk anywhere. The speed smelled like panic and bleach. I called our city's community liaison, Ms. Hartwell, about public right-of-way. She confirmed sidewalks beyond property lines were city easements. Chalk there wasn't HOA's kingdom. That sentence felt like gate unlocking. I planned chalk-in on Renfold Lane sidewalk, invited neighbors, printed flyers, emailed reporters. Children will count. Adults will count. Sylvie recruited a music teacher to bring speaker. A retiree brought lemonade. A carpenter built a hopscotch stencil. People signed up to draw kindness squares. August posted a reminder, violations would be issued to anyone chalking. I replied, "On city easement, your authority ends." Ms. Hartwell commented, confirming. Thread exploded. The night before, I tucked Lark in and told her a story about dragon squares protecting villages from gray. She giggled, hid chalk under pillow. Morning dawned sharp as pages. I packed water, copies of laws, and voice. Across the street, Byron Quill waited, phone lifted, filming our hopeful beginning. The first chalk line cracked silence. Lark bent, careful hand drawing a square marked 1. Neighbors clapped softly. Cameras rolled, not just Byron's anymore. A teacher's son drew number 2. A widow drew 3, giggling. The pavement bloomed with numbers, colors, and courage. Every square dared the itch. August stormed across cul-de-sac, flanked by Penumbra and Quill. He waved papers, barking about rules, yelling, illegal. Lark looked up at me. I squeezed her hand. We're on city land, I said. You can't erase childhood. Ms. Hartwell appeared, clipboard ready. She nodded. This is public sidewalk. They're within rights. Neighbors gasped, cheered. Someone live-streamed. August's face tightened. He hissed, "You're undermining order." I replied, "Order isn't silence. It's fairness." Lark hopped, numbers under her shoes. Penumbra shouted, "This will ruin our community." A voice shouted back, "No, your rules are ruining it." The air tasted like lightning, waiting to break. August threatened police. Ms. Hartwell lifted phone, already called. Officers arrived, surveyed chalk squares, then shrugged. No crime here. Kids playing. Quill's camera shook. The officers laughed, one hopping on square 5. Children erupted in cheers. August's shoulders sagged, empire cracking. Penumbra hissed, retreating toward clubhouse shadows. Neighbors filmed everything. Officers hopping, children cheering, August red-faced. Every frame exposed hypocrisy more than words could. My chest swelled. Lark's humiliation was turning fire. As officers left, a neighbor whispered, "What now?" I looked at August, trembling smile. "Now," I said, "we count higher." Lark jumped to square 10. The following week, letters arrived like bullets. HOA fines stacked, unmowed lawn, unauthorized gathering, noise violation. Each envelope heavier than the last. Neighbors received them too. Sylvie laughed bitterly. They're bleeding themselves. She slapped fines on table like poker chips. You going to fold? My hands shook but I smiled. Never. I organized receipts into folders, documenting every bogus violation. Constance's signature appeared on each, dates overlapping impossibilities. One claimed we'd played loud music at dawn. Neighbors rallied. Teachers, retirees, single parents, everyone sharing letters, posting photos, comparing lies. A mother whispered, "They fined me for hanging a wreath." Evidence grew mountains. Lark asked, "Daddy, are we in trouble?" I knelt. "No, sweetheart. We're building truth. And truth beats lies." She hugged me, chalk dust on my shirt. Byron posted online, "Troublemakers ruining community spirit." His comments drew laughter and screenshots. Someone replied with video of officers hopping hopscotch. Byron deleted, but too late. August scheduled emergency meeting. Flyers warned about disruptive elements. We prepared. Sylvie baked muffins. "Always bring food to revolution," she said. Her eyes gleamed like bonfires. I rehearsed speech, citing bylaws, contracts, vendor names, photographs. I rehearsed Lark's story again, her small hands erasing squares under humiliation. Anger sharpened into clarity. The night before, another letter arrived, threat of lien against house. My stomach dropped, but fear hardened into steel. They wanted silence. They get noise. I looked at Lark sleeping, her chalk under pillow like hope. Tomorrow's meeting wasn't just about rules. It was about dignity, memory, and childhood itself. The clubhouse overflowed. Folding chairs filled hall. Neighbors lined walls. Reporters scribbled. August sat stiff, Penumbra whispering, Constance glaring, Byron live-streaming like courtroom drama. I carried a binder thick with evidence. My voice trembled but carried. Tonight, we discuss fairness, not lawns. We discuss children, not fines. I laid out vendor contracts, highlighting merit maintenance payments. Gasps spread. Nepotism, someone whispered. August's face hardened. Irrelevant. I showed bylaws contradicting new chalk ban. Murmurs grew louder. I held up fines. Wreaths, toys, noise at impossible hours. Weaponized rules. People nodded, whispered stories. Reporters' pens scratched like thunder. August's gavel cracked wood. You twist facts, he snarled. I pressed play on recording. Constance laughing about delays. He'll drown in paper, her voice said. Room erupted in outrage. Sylvie handed muffins down rows. Neighbors bit, eyes fiery. Courage tasted sweet. I pointed to Lark. A child was humiliated for hopscotch. That is your legacy. Reporters raised cameras. August bellowed, order. But order had shifted. Parents shouted questions. Retirees demanded audits. For first time, his control slipped like sand. I ended, we don't live here to serve rules. Rules serve us. Silence, then cheers. Quill's live stream caught everything. August read, Constance shrinking, penumbra stone. Board announced recess, fleeing stage. Neighbors swarmed me, shaking hands, hugging, whispering thanks. Lark hid behind my leg, then peeked, smiling small but fierce. As lights dimmed, Sylvie whispered, You've cracked them. I nodded. But deep inside, I knew cracks invite collapse, or retaliation darker than chalk could mark. The next morning, rumors spread, resignations. Penumbra stepped down, citing stress. Constance announced she'd seek other opportunities. Byron vanished offline. August clung, silent as stone. City Council scheduled review of HOA practices. Investigators requested contracts, bank statements, minutes. Neighbors submitted letters, photographs, fines. Truth was moving, unstoppable as tide. August posted a furious letter accusing me of sabotage. Neighbors replied with screenshots, memes mocking chalk bans. His authority shrank with every laugh, every shared post. Lark returned to sidewalk, chalk bright again. Children joined, numbers stretching like galaxies. Parents watched, smiling. For once, no blinds closed, no whispers of fear. Reporters filmed. Hopscotch rebellion, headlines read. August refused interviews. Cameras caught him storming into clubhouse, slamming doors, curtains drawn. Silence louder than gavel once was. Sylvie raised lemonade. You built a movement, she said. I shook head. We just played. But inside, I knew it was bigger. Play was protest. A week later, ballots arrived. Emergency election. Neighbors nominated me, Sylvie, the teacher, the widow. Fairness slate, they called it. My stomach twisted. Leadership scared me. Lark tugged my sleeve. Daddy, will you protect the squares? Her eyes glowed. I nodded. Always. That word weighed heavier than any fine, any bylaw. Election night, votes tallied, cheers erupting. August lost seat. The board was ours. Neighbors cried, hugged, left. Lark drew a crown over square 10. But August stood outside, glaring through glass. His empire gone, but his eyes promised storm. Victory tasted sweet, yet shadows lingered long beyond celebration. Weeks later, chalk paths covered sidewalks, hopscotch stretching block to block. Children's laughter echoed louder than any rule. Oleander Trace looked alive, finally ours. As new president, I proposed first resolution, play is not a violation. Unanimous vote. Applause filled clubhouse. Lark skipped squares painted like constellations outside. Neighbors planted gardens, hung wind chimes, painted wreaths. Rules rewrote themselves into kindness. Dues lowered, finances transparent. The fear that once chained us dissolved into air. Reporters called it Hopscotch Revolution. I called it justice. Lark called it freedom. Sylvie called it about damn time. Every square told story of change. One evening, walking home, I saw faint chalk lines fading under rain. My chest tightened, remembering humiliation that began it all. Anger turned into gratitude. I crouched beside Lark, drawing new square. "Daddy," she asked, "why did they hate chalk?" I smiled sadly. "Because joy scares people who need control." She hopped anyway, laughter rising. Neighbors cheered. Sunset painted sky pink-orange. For first time, Oleander Trace felt less like a prison and more like home. August's house stood dark, for sale, sign crooked. He'd vanished quietly. No gavel, no letters, no control. Just silence, broken only by Hopscotch steps outside. I watched Lark jump, strong, fearless, free. Every square lifted years of weight off my shoulders. Childhood belonged here, not rules. That truth burned permanent. The HOA tried to stop Hopscotch. But they forgot, joy is stubborn. And sometimes, the smallest chalk square can shatter the tallest wall of control.